Hello, welcome to Coffee with Jude. I'm really excited about this video that's coming up because I give a description of how to use Scrivener, and I found that Scrivener was an amazing tool to write my second book with, South of Ordinary. In the story, or in the video, I'm calling it something else, Flying High or something, I can't remember, but anyway, it just shows that I did a lot of revisions since I made that video. And the cool thing about Scrivener is that you can organize your material so much easier than in Word because of all the tools. Like, you can move your chapters around, like a whole chapter, and see how you like that. Or you can put notes on the side about what you want the chapter to be about. And I found that using Microsoft Word was just, after a while, after I had like 30,000 words or more, it was a bird's nest trying to keep everything straight and figure out if I'd ever written that already. Scrivener has a super good search function, so you can see if you've written the same thing somewhere else. And it also, if you have an overuse of words, you can see how many times you use the word, for instance, always, and it'll find them, and then you can delete that word, or seems, or any of those extra words that you use. It's super good for that. And I suppose you could do that in Word too, but it's just easier to get around in Scrivener. It's a little bit harder learning because there's so many features and things are a little bit different, but it's really a useful tool. So let's watch a video, and I hope you like Scrivener.
So here's a sample of a book I'm working on, Flying High, and it's in Scrivener. So one of the big advantages of Scrivener is I recently took this chapter, Jealous in Oaxaca, that was in the middle of my story, because this is a journey we went by foot land, and from Mexico to Buenos Aires, Argentina. And so about Oaxaca, Mexico, about in here is when I had this Jealous in Oaxaca experience. But I really thought that it would work better if it was at the beginning of the book, because it would kind of set up the conflict and gain momentum early on. I could put it here or wherever you want. So as I mentioned, in Microsoft Word, that's not so easy to do, because this takes the whole chunk, the whole chapter, and moves it around. Whereas in Word, you'd have to like copy and paste and put it in a different area. And so when you're kind of working with a story and you're trying to mold the different sections and find your structure, this is a super great format and capability. So another great feature of Scrivener is the snapshot. Say whatever highlighted would be saved in a snapshot. So this is this one chapter called Grandma Miller's New Horizons. So to take a snapshot, you just go here to the inspector and you want to select the camera. And then you just hit the plus button to take a snapshot, and you see it's right here. Now, if I wanted to try editing this and say I wanted to do, I don't know, something big or whatever, but I'm just going to do this to show you how it works. And then you would take another snapshot of it. You're not really sure if you want to keep it or not. So you take another snapshot. The second snapshot, the most recent, is the one on the top. And then you can compare the two. And so you'll see that it will highlight what change you had made. Do you see this on the right side? And so I don't really want to keep this like this, so I'm going to tell it to roll back. And then it's going to ask you, do you want to take a snapshot before you roll back? But I don't, because I know what I already have and I know what I want to keep. So I'm just going to say no. And then it rolls it back. So if you look at the manuscript, those X's are gone. So now I don't really want to save these, so I don't want to get mixed up. So I'm going to delete the snapshot. It's going to say, are you sure? And say yes, okay. And then here, I'm going to delete this one too. Hit the minus sign to delete it. So to start your new document, you would go to File, New Project, and this will be the screen you'll get. And you want to click on blank. The reason is that fiction, nonfiction script writing is full of all different formatting options that you don't want to worry about now while you're just writing your first draft. You can worry about the formatting later. So just choose blank and then create. So this is my new document. And you want to start out with making your sections, like if your book has part 1, part 2, part 3. And you can go up here and select new folder, and the sections would be called folders. So the name could be part 1. And then to add your chapters, you just click the plus button up here, and then you type in the chapter name over here on the body. And you see how it appears over here on the right, on the left, I mean. And then you can go ahead and type in your copy. And then to add another chapter, you could just click on chapter 1 and hit the enter button, and then call this chapter 2. And another chapter. And if you wanted to add another part, you would highlight part 1 and say new folder, and this would be part 2. And then to add your chapters, you can just hit the enter. And so don't forget that if you want to, once you get your chapters written, if you want to move them around, you can just go like that to move them to different areas and see how you like that. So to make this larger, I'm going to highlight it, and then it's going to remember the rest of the words I type. And so I'm on a Mac, and I use Command-Shift-Greater, the greater sign, and so that makes it bigger. So I'll put it about there. If you open up this inspector, you can put some descriptions here. You can put notes about what you're going to write. So once you put these notes in here, then you can go to this view mode up here. And this is the regular mode we're in, view the document. You select draft, and then that'll select all the things that are below it. And then you can see the corkboard view. This section, research, I like to use to insert website that I want to review later. Control C to copy. Control V to paste. So now if I want to go back down, and look at this later, I've got this website right here that I can click on and view. If you highlight, let's get out of this corkboard view and just go to the regular document view. Look for the word store. It'll highlight the word and show you where it is. And then in these other chapters don't have the word store, so that's not showing up here. So print your document, it's a little bit more complicated than Microsoft Word. You kind of have to tell it what you want to print and what format you want to use. So I'm going to print this as a PDF. So first of all, I'm going to select all the areas that I want to print. In this case, it's the whole document. And if you click on the top and then you hold down the shift key and click, and that will select everything in between. And then you would go to file and compile. It's the very last item on the file list. And in the compile, you want to pick new format and assign section layouts. And for your heading and your section, your heading is your parts, like part 1, part 2, and then those are your folders in Scrivener. And then the section is the chapter headings. So we want to select this one right here, text section with heading, and then say OK, and then click compile. And I'm going to export it as this name. So this is what it would look like then with your, it's perfectly formatted with the section heading on the top and then the chapter. And then you can see the pages are numbered and the next chapter folded. And so that's how you print your document. If you're into it and you end up loving it, you can do myriads of things with this software. It's super powerful.